Hi everybody, welcome to Insight from the Torah portion, Parashat Vayechi. We're going to have a special class, how to help your kids to deal with anxiety. It's a tool that you can also help yourself or your friends, but I will give examples for your kids and also, as usual, from the Torah portion. Going to be very useful tool. Whoever doesn't know, I have a WhatsApp group that you can join and get all those videos straight to your phone. The link is underneath the video. And also, please subscribe to the channel so I can get to more people and help other people share this video so they will enjoy it as well. Another point before we start, I want to share with you a special course that I'm doing. It will be in Ariel, in Israel, but maybe you have family or friends that live there, so it will be a special course that will combine CBT with hairstyling. All the information, you can ask me in the link underneath the video, and I will tell you more about this special course that starts really soon. And I have another present for whoever subscribed to the channel. He sent me a message in the link underneath the video, and I sent cards of joy for free. Special present. It's my birthday soon. I want to give a present, so just subscribe to the channel. Send me a link in the link to my WhatsApp. There's a link to connect. Press that link, and I will send you the cards. People really enjoy them, and it's for free. So in this parsha, the name of the parsha is Vayechi, but it actually talks about the death of two great tzaddikim, Yaakov and Yosef. And the name of the parsha is Vayechi because they live their life for the fullest. And also they say that tzaddikim, when they died, they called alive, and the bad guys, even when they're alive, they consider dead. Why? Because bad guys, all their aim in life is just to fulfill their ta'ava, and they're never happy because the ta'ava is never full. If they get one thing, they always want the next thing. They're never satisfied. But a tzaddik, like his name is tzedek, justice, and he wants to do good for the world and influence. And he starts to do stuff when he's alive, but the stuff continues after he dead. And I want to talk to you about my second cousin. Her name was Shira, that she was a great tzaddikah. She was a soldier, and she got murdered in a terror attack in Armon HaNatziv in Jerusalem 6 years ago, in Asara B'Tevet, that it's this week. And some terror attack, he drove over her, and it's a terrible story. But she was a great tzadikah, and you can see that the stuff she was doing, it's continuing now. She was going and helping kids in school to learn math. She was going to Holocaust survivors and meeting them weekly. And now after her murdered, her parents, they did a amutah on her name, and the name of the amutah is Amutat Shir. And that place, what it does, it gives food for old people and help kids that need help in school. They give them in a free volunteering. People come and teach them, and it's all influenced by her, the stuff she did when she was alive. And it's a good opportunity if you want to give money to this foundation, Amutah. I will put a link I know the people. They're my second cousin. Yeah, I know them. They're really good people. They do good stuff with the money, and it's opportunity to give them some donations. So the Parashat Shavua, it starts that with the pasuk Vayechi Yaakov be'eretz Mitzrayim, and it means Yaakov was alive in Egypt, but it means that he's going to dead, and the entire parsha is talking about Yaakov separating from his kids. He tells them again and again, I'm sick, I'm going to die. He calls his kids. Yeah. Like I will give a few examples from the Psukim. So it says, ויהי אחר הדברים האלה, after those things, ויאמר ליוסף, he said to Yosef, הנה אביך חולה, your father is sick, and it says, ויקרבו ימי ישראל למות, his days were close to die, ויקרא לבנו יוסף, and he calls Yosef, and then again, ויאמר ישראל אל יוסף, Israel, that is a different name for Yaakov, he says to Yosef, הנה אנוכי מת, I'm going to die. And the last one, it says, ויצב אותם, ויאמר להם, אני נאסף אל עמי. I'm going to be with my fathers. And I wanted to talk today about being anxiety, specifically in kids, but all anxiety, it's very common. And there's different kinds of anxiety. It's anxiety from death, anxiety from being around people, specific anxiety that the name is phobia, like from dogs, animals, or from medical stuff, or from heights, or agoraphobia. That means being afraid from open places or closed places, to be afraid to be in the elevator or in a canyon. And there's many different kinds of being afraid and anxiety, but the idea of all of them is being afraid from stuff, and all of them have also physical feelings, like people feel like their heart's beating really fast, or they feel like it's hard for them to breathe, or they feel like their mouth gets dry, or the sweat, or their legs shaking. Okay, so it has physical way that you feel in your body. Although there's thoughts that connected to it, like a thought that like, oh, I'm going to die, or something bad is going to happen. And the third thing is the behavior of, because I'm afraid that something bad will happen in the bus, so I stop going in buses. Okay, some behavior that influence from that, or because I'm afraid the house is going to be on fire, so I will close all the heat stuff, check many times that the gas is closed. Okay, so there's some behaviors connected to it. And we see in the Parsha that the entire Parsha, Yaakov is not trying to avoid from talking about his death. Maybe he thinks his kids are afraid from he's going to die, but he's not trying to avoid talking about it. He says it, and that's the idea with an anxiety. Instead of trying to not think about it and not doing stuff, stop going to places, we need to do exactly the opposite. Like if our kid is afraid to go on buses, so you actually want to expose them and let them go on buses. Obviously, we'll do it slowly, not in like one go. Like we will make them prepared and do it in stages. And if you need, you can take somebody that is a therapist and can help you go through the process. But the idea is, he will see that it's not so bad as he thinks. A lot of time people think, oh, if I would have an anxiety attack, I would die. But actually, an anxiety attack is not dangerous. Nobody dies from an anxiety attack. It's just hard feeling. But when we understand, it will just pass, and it's not something we're going to die from. So we will be less stressed out about it. And that's something we can explain our kids. we also want to explain them that it's a subjective afraid, that other people are not afraid of something like that. It's not really dangerous. Not the physical stuff, and not the thing he's afraid from. Like if he's afraid from going in buses, so we explain him it's not something dangerous. People do it all the time. Obviously, if something is dangerous, we don't want him to do it. So I will teach a model that Mears Marom and Gilboa Schechter wrote in their book, and it's a model that helps to deal with anxiety. The name of the book they wrote it in is Cognitive Behavioral Treatment in Kids. So it's specifically for kids, but you can also do it with other kinds of people. So the model has 4 steps. Okay, the first step is to identify the feeling of fear. Which feeling in my body I feel when I have fear? Do I sweat? Do my mouth get dry? My heart beats really fast? My legs shake? I feel like I want to throw up. Like, which feeling in my body I feel when I am afraid? The second thing is, what is my thoughts? Which thought makes me be afraid? Like, I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to die because the anxiety attack, or I'm afraid to go in the bus because what will happen? I'm afraid there will be a car accident. You're afraid you will have an anxiety attack inside the bus and you won't get help. What are you afraid from going inside the bus, or from like the anxiety? Like sometimes you're afraid from having an anxiety attack, but sometimes you're afraid from other things. So you need to identify what is the thought that makes the kid afraid. And the third step is changing the thoughts. So instead of saying, okay, if I will go on a bus, I will have an anxiety attack, you want to put a question mark in the end of the sentence and say, if I go in a bus, is it sure that I will have an anxiety attack? Did it happen that I went on the bus or went in the elevator or did something like went to places that I'm avoiding from going and something that didn't happen? There was a sentence like that? Can it be a situation like that? So then basically we want to have a different thought that we can say, okay, now I feel afraid, but I know it can be changeable. So after we change the thought from saying it as a fact to having a question about it, we want to have a positive action, like to do something, behavioral, right? Behavioral therapy, you want to behave in some positive way, like think, okay, what I can do. If I'm afraid to go meet my goals in the youth group because I'm afraid I will have an anxiety attack and everybody will laugh at me. So what I'm able to do, maybe I can invite friends to home, maybe I can go to one of my friends' house. Like think about something you can actually do, something positive that will make you go further on. So I will give an example, okay, for those 4 steps. So for instance, a girl named Racheli, she's afraid to go out of her house and meet her friends after school. So in the first stage, we want to help Racheli identify which feeling she has when she has anxiety, so she can tell, okay, now I'm anxiety, now I'm not. So what are the signs? So she feels like her heart beats really fast, it's hard for her to breathe, her mouth is dry. Okay, and then when she feels it, she feels it only before she goes to the place, while she's there, only if she goes to a specific girlfriend, if it's only in the afternoon but not at school time, is it only at other people's house but not if friends are coming to her house? Like you want to identify where exactly it happens. The second stage, we want to identify what is the thought that make her not doing the thing. So she thinks if I go to the youth group, I'm going to faint from being afraid that I will have an anxiety attack, or nobody will play with me. I will just stand up by myself and be bored, or everybody will laugh at me if I have an anxiety attack. So we understand, okay, what she's afraid of. And the third step, we want to ask a question about it, like, is everybody going to laugh if you have an anxiety attack? Did it happen that you went to the youth group but people did play with you? Did it happen that you went to the youth group and you didn't faint from being stressed out? Okay, so we want to ask questions, and then we want to explain it. Okay, you're afraid of something, but there's no real danger. And the first step is trying to encourage her to do something positive. So if she afraid to go by herself to the youth group, maybe she can go with a friend, or maybe she can go to visit a friend, or something else she can do in the same direction that will be a positive action. I will also give an example from the Parsha. So in the Parsha, Reuven, I'm just imagining it, yeah, it's not a real thing, but maybe Reuven is afraid that he will die like his father died, because also his brother Yosef dies in this Parsha. So maybe he's afraid, look, my father died, my brother died, maybe I'm also going to die. Okay, maybe he's afraid from death. Every time he remembers that, he feels like it's hard for him to breathe, and he is afraid he's going to faint. So in the first stage, we identified what he's feeling. The second stage, we want to identify the thoughts. So he thinks, oh, if my father and my brother died, probably I'm going to die 2 days soon, or also like so. So in the third stage, we want to put a question about this thought, like, is because my father and my brother died, that's a sign that I'm going to die too. Look, I have other brothers that are alive, right? Another 11 brothers, except of Yosef, or another 10, except of him and Yosef. So is somebody else dying, that's a sign that I'm going to die too. I want to try to change that thought in a different thought and say, okay, maybe I'm afraid to die, but there's no real danger for me at the moment. And in the first step, we want to do something positive, like do something that would make him feel more alive, something that would be meaningful, something positive for him. So if we summarize what we learned today, we saw that the thought itself is not the problem. The problem is like being afraid from it and dealing with it all the time, and not acting in the world and not living our life for the fullest, right? The name of the Parsha is Vayechi, because we want lichyot, we want to live our life for the fullest and not just being afraid and stay at home because we're afraid from stuff. So we want to do a separation, to separate between what we're afraid from and what is actually a danger. And we do it in 4 stages. First, we identify when do we feel this physical feeling, what exactly we feel, and then we identify the thoughts that connected to it, and then we put a question mark on this thought. And in the 4th step, we want to do some positive reaction, something positive, and that's the way we want to help our kids, okay? By those 4 steps, encourage them in the end to do something positive and explain that it's not dangerous, the anxiety itself. So I hope you found this tool useful. Please share it with your friends so they can enjoy it too. And see you Bezrat Hashem next week. Subscribe to the channel and send me a message. You get the cards. Bye.